All right, Trevor, time for your update video on Hemi. To show you where we're at with the girl. Hemi's doing just fine, plugging along. After doing a few days, week or more of some fun retrieving, getting her in the water, which she did great. Really happy with her retrieving ability. It's pretty clear what Hemi needs is we need to make sure we get her obedience completely under control and get her force fetched. She's got all the drive in the world. We just got to make sure that we channel it into what we need. So a couple of things before we get into this. We did numerous sessions on the precursor to force fetch, which is hold. Hold is just, I'm going to stick my hand in your mouth and you're going to leave it there until I tell you I'm taking it out. And then we also do the same thing with a stick. We use this little force fetch stick, works great. Then they have to carry it from point A to point B without dropping it. Now comes the hard part, because most dogs handle hold just fine. Most dogs, a few sessions of don't drop it, and they get, okay, don't drop it, or he's just going to stick it back in there. But force fetch is a different animal because it requires the dog to respond to pressure. So the interesting thing about Hemi is there's two problems here. One, Hemi is like a compulsive panter. She pants constantly, and I think you've told me that before. But she is always panting. So I make sure when I start to work with her, she gets zero free running time before this. She comes straight from the pen where she's been laying down resting because I want her cooled off. I don't want her hot at all. Because the heavy panting is actually a real problem here because it makes it harder for her to keep her mouth closed and harder for her to keep a good grip on the stick. And so it's counterproductive. So we try to do this with the dog as cold, if you will, as possible. So it seems to be just like working the dog when it's cooler is been sufficient to help her understand the process. The reality is she knows what I want. The dog is highly intelligent, got a lot of drive, and very motivated. She knows what I want, but the panting detracts from her being successful. So that's one issue, but we're working on that. We're working through that. The other issue is she is the highest pressure dog in my kennel right now, for sure, and one of the highest pressure dogs that I've worked with. What I mean by that is every dog has a threshold of how much pressure it takes for them to respond. The vast majority of Labradors, it's very low pressure. I pinch their ear very little, and it's usually just my bare fingers. Literally, my pointer finger and my thumb, and I squeeze their ear. For most dogs is enough to do it. Sometimes I'll use my thumbnail to squeeze a little harder. Hemi doesn't even blink at that pressure. And so I have to up the pressure quite a bit on her to get her to respond. I think after we do this for a couple of weeks, we'll see that tone down and she's gonna be like, all right, I'm sick of that, I get it. I am getting her to respond. It's just, it took a lot of pressure. We really had to ratchet up the pressure before she wanted to turn it off, which is not unheard of in high drive dogs. It's just, that's who she is. She needs a fair amount of pressure to respond. So what I mean by that, and actually I'm going to tip the camera down here a little bit so we can see a little bit better, see what's going on. All right, so you'll sit. So what I want to do here is I'm going to kneel beside the dog, and all I want her to do is get the stick in her mouth. Now, she knows to get the stick in her mouth, but she's a little bit defiant. She really is, which is okay. We'll work through it. So what I'm going to do is as soon as the stick comes up to her face, I'm going to start pinching. And then the pinch stops as soon as she establishes that she grabs it. So, I'm going to pinch. See how she clams up. Good girl. And we're just going to apply pressure here. Just keep applying the pressure. Oh, good girl. And there she reached and grabbed. Good girl. Good. You might have even heard her start to whimper a little bit. That's okay. And I'm holding her collar pretty firm so she can't move. A lot of dogs want to fidget and fuss and move. We're going to make sure that she holds a nice firm grip in here. Don't Don't want her to drop. She's got kind of a sloppy hold because she wants to pant, and that's what works against us a little bit. Good girl. Give. Good. So she's trying to use it as an excuse. The reality is she knows what I want, and she knows how to do it. Let's do another couple reps here. Fetch. Good girl. And now I'm actually saying the F word when she grabs it. Good girl. Good. She's shivering here a little bit. She's a little bit nervous. Yesterday was a bit intense on the pressure. It took a lot of pressure yesterday to get her to respond. She's actually doing better today. But she's a little bit nervous. She knows, yeah, I gotta do this. Give. Good dog. And there she had enough of a grip I had to actually pull it out. So that's good. That's good. That's good. Good girl. Good. Okay, so now that we got her to fetch a couple times, and you can tell her body positioning says that, you know, her tail's wagging, she's happy, she's okay. She's not upset, she's not down in the dumps. But, you know, this is the hardest part of all gun dog training for every dog. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fetch the stick, and then we're going to take a few steps and sit down with it. Fetch, heel, sit, give. Good dog. And what I did there is I put my hand under her mouth to reinforce so that she would be successful. I don't want her to have the chance to make a mistake by dropping early. Heel, sit. Good. Let's do another couple more. Fetch. Good girl. Heel, sit, give. Good girl. That's a good girl. Good. All right. Fetch, sit, give, and there I didn't even have to touch her. My hand was under there as a safety net, but we didn't have to do it. One more time. Heel, sit, fetch, heel, sit, give. Good girl. That's a good dog. So after she's done what we want, then we go give her a fun retrieve. Hey, didn't even throw it yet. Look at her. She's already out in the field. Like, well, then throw it. She loves the fun retrieves. And she's going to dump it like 5 feet in front of me. She always does this with if it's a toy. Hey, right here. Give. I say that and then she doesn't. I mean, she runs like she's on fire. You know, she's having a good time. She's doing great. Right here, baby. Give. Didn't even pretend to throw it. Hey, what if I throw it the other way? We'll make her run. Another thing we're doing, I'm getting her in shape. Getting all that baby weight off her. Hey, where are you going? Come on, Hemi. Atta girl. There she dumped it. So, Hemi's doing great. We just gotta keep grinding away. We got 6 weeks until the test. The honest reality is I could probably get her through the test now if we had to. It wouldn't be pretty. She's not steady. She's not going to deliver to hand very well. But, you know, she'll go pick up the ducks. Anyway, she's going to be sharpened up and looking good by the time we get through the test. She'll be in good shape.